If there are over 1 million restaurants across North America and an equal number of best restaurant lists, how could you possibly know which are really the best? What if there was one ultimate list? Well, there actually is. And it says there are 5 restaurants making food better than anywhere else on the continent. So I'm testing the top 5 on the list, eating over 100 courses across North America to see if the list is as accurate as they say it is, and better yet, is it worth it? At every stop, we're bringing a very important guest. Many will be people who rarely eat food like this, a representative of the people. And at our final stop, a chef who knows what it takes to be number 1. Starting not only with a 2 Michelin star restaurant, but you need a secret code to get in. So we step inside a place called Tanière. This is something I've never seen before. A long, eerie tunnel, and then another. Am I gonna be locked away down here forever? Kidding, I hope. This entire restaurant lives underground, carved into a series of connected chambers. And as the night goes on, we'll move deeper and deeper. And our first special guest waiting in the snack room is Lagurki, a local Canadian food YouTuber who has never been to a place like this. One of only two Michelin star restaurants in all of Canada. The snacks were very unique, but the first main course, whoa. This is their signature dish called Noble, which in the bottom is a rich butter sauce, and on top, scallops poached in that butter, with another topping of a massive pile of the finest caviar. And then they serve that all topped off. The first beverage you get in here is a beautiful glass of champagne to go with that. I mean,
the good life. C'est bon dans la gueule. Good in the mouth.
C'est bon dans la gueule.
Yes, welcome to Quebec.
All the layers work together. They're leveraging very simple flavors that are very powerful. And then this champagne cuts through it like a hot knife in butter. It is so sharp and tart and just mineralic. Is that a word?
This meal makes you want to wear a huge coat of fur and be a noble.
Next up, at the bottom of the plate is a lobster tail. At the top, a center-cut slice of the lobster claw. And to the left, various greens, but more importantly, matsutake mushroom. Wow, that is so packed, full of lobster flavor and like a toasted, like this roasted mushroom flavor. Honestly, that's borderline MSG hack right there. That's crazy.
Full of umami, like it's crazy.
The fact that we're getting this from the number 5 makes me kind of like, almost like nervous. Like, what is number 1 gonna be like? Maybe this deserves to be number 1, I don't know. This next one could propel Tanière to the top of my personal leaderboard so far. So we have a big rock.
Booga booga.
So we have cheese, au grès des champs.
Yes.
Cheese.
Let's go.
Now in the upper left and lower right is that cheese, shaved. Morel mushrooms in the bottom, and in the center is a crunchy twill cylinder, and inside that, more of that cheese in a foam form. Cheers.
Oh, I have a ratatouille moment, being in the woods with my father and walking on a mushroom that farts.
I don't like this story, but I love this dish. That's a 10 out of 10. That is a perfect dish. This is a dish that would signal me that we are in a restaurant that belongs in the top 50 best restaurants in America. Creme brulee at a Michelin restaurant? On the left, more caviar, and on the right, a maple creme brulee. I'm a little skeptical. Oh wow, that's insane. If someone were to have asked me, what's your favorite use of caviar ever? I might have said on a potato chip, mixed into a sauce. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's creme brulee. Number 5 is low-key swinging for number 1. The first dessert, insane, but could the final dessert match the surprise I felt entering the final room? An ice cream sandwich that on the outside has a crunchy praline. And then inside, that little thinner part is essentially a jelly, and the thicker creamy part is a maple ice cream. So yeah, ice cream sandwich.
I have a ratatouille moment once again. This is exactly like being in a sugar shack. It feels exactly like a maple taffy. It's delicious. Everything was extremely good. 10 out of 10. I loved it. Memorable experience. You should try it out. Most people would love this kind of food because everything that was served are things that are craveable and delicious and interesting without being like so crazy. Incredibly fresh local ingredients executed literally perfectly. Who's not gonna love that? So is it worth it? Duh. But is it a number 5 or is it a number 1? It's gonna be a hard question to answer because the remaining spots are insane. Number 3 is a barn literally in the middle of nowhere. Number 2, reminder, in all of America, is just a simple neighborhood wine bar. And number 1 is inside a New York City apartment building. We've got an interesting experience ahead. But next, Smith in Chicago, the only 3 Michelin star restaurant in the top 5. One of only 14 restaurants in all of America have been bestowed 3 stars. This is about obsessive
excessive creativity, but there's something unusual they do here. Constant risk-taking in the middle of dinner service, which we'll see soon. And joining me on this adventure is quite possibly the perfect person for the job. Mr. Beef himself, Christopher Zucchero, what the show The Bear is modeled after. Not only is he a restaurateur, but he's a lifelong dining skeptic. So we're gonna find out if we change this man or if his beliefs are solidified.
You're not a big fine dining guy. So what do you think of restaurants like this, and are they worth it?
Normally, I would not do this. My wife eats like this, her friends eat like this, and I've been invited to a lot of nice places like this. It's just never been my thing. Who would want to eat like this? This isn't comfortable.
Now we're gonna see how you feel after the meal.
Within minutes of being seated, they put something on the table that I'm worried is going to upset Chris. But I thought it was beautiful. That leaf-like object on top is actually seaweed, and underneath, a tart filled with Hokkaido uni.
Interesting, it's beautiful. It looks like a piece of art. Why would you want to eat something like this?
Shall we?
Let's go, my love.
One bite.
Delicious, brother.
Oh, wow. Super well seasoned and a little bit of umami.
Tasted like a real, excellent Ritz cracker.
Okay, he's being nice, but let's be honest, he seems pretty unimpressed. Next up, I think this is the thinnest sandwich in the world. The bread, crispy corn twill, filled with a lot of truffle and pate.
Second course, and we already have a sandwich with the king of sandwiches.
My wife's gonna be proud. She's not gonna believe that I ate something like this.
What flavors and textures are you giving up, Chris?
I don't know, man. It's delicious, though.
This is one of those things that no matter who eats it, they'll find it delicious and they won't understand why. It's like the perfect pairing of an assortment of flavors that you don't normally see together, greater than the sum of its parts.
I would normally not eat pate, but all of that together was outstanding. It was delicious. I almost want to eat Vikram's right now.
Next up,
I don't love uni, and this is like uni on uni on uni. So
Sure.
without further ado,
I think it's delicious. This is really good, dude. It's very refreshing.
it's kind of insanely good. It's like both rich and light at the same time. This is one of the only ways I think you're gonna get me to eat uni. Restaurants like this will put things in front of you that are often like underappreciated or ignored or scary, and they find ways to make you love them. And I think that is hallmark of not just great cookery, but also good creativity. It's basically saying, we're gonna take this thing that not everybody loves and just figure it out.
and then a puffed liquid nitrogen frozen disc of lobster with peanut milk in the bottom.
This is the most lobstery lobster I've ever tasted in my life.
What he said, it tastes like an amazing Thai dish right now.
Probably #1 lobster bite I've had in the last 12 months.
It's the only thing like this I've ever had, ever in the 45 years I've been on this planet.
I can't believe it. Is this actually changing Chris's mind here? We haven't won him over yet though, so on to the next course.
3 Michelin stars don't around. They design their spoons for the vessels that you're eating out of.
This is essentially a lobster chawanmushi, which is a savory Japanese egg custard.
It's so hard to make something cold that flavorful. It's crazy.
I like custards. Whatever came out of that was delicious.
This is the type of dish that makes a restaurant 2 or 3 Michelin. It also is the type of dish that will get you on the top 50 list, especially in the top 5.
I don't like seafood. I've engulfed everything that's been seafood. That's easy to do here.
He goes, I don't like seafood. I'm like hammering him with the seafood restaurant.
No, you do whatever you want to me, Joshua. I'm enjoying this.
Chris was shocked, but it turns out I am as well. And it gets crazier. Smith is known for creating dishes on the spot, and believe it or not, they did that with this, a completely translucent ravioli. Like, look at this, you can see through them, filled with pea broth and hoja santa.
Banger.
Bingo.
This was seasoned 30 seconds ago. They dialed it in just now and then sent it out. From a operational standpoint, it's like not only borderline impossible, but it also is ballsy.
This is another on-the-spot dish. The little brown pieces are brined young walnut, a quenelle of cream sitting in a broth, and possibly the most generous serving of caviar I've ever seen. Hopefully, Chris likes caviar.
Crazy. There's no way they haven't tested this. This is the best caviar dish I've ever had.
Same here.
Like, this is a 10 out of 10 use of caviar. This is it. This is the one. A 3 Michelin star restaurant, constantly striving for utter perfection, and they're like, let's just test brand new dishes on these guys that we've never put on the menu ever before, right now on camera. You gotta respect that. I understand why this is at the top 5 restaurant in America. I also am beginning to question, should this be #1?
Then came the most beautiful bread I've ever seen in my entire life. This looks like it belongs with the gods on Mount Olympus.
Oh my God. That is diabolical, how good that is.
It makes Parker House rolls look like eyes. All right, that's what it does.
I don't know if this is our last course, but if it is, that was one hell of a crescendo. And that means the dessert is next.
Of course, it's rice pudding, my favorite quintessential dessert. Any place has rice pudding, I automatically get it.
There's a twist though. The twist is that it has foie gras in it. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't like foie gras that much.
Neither do I.
They're f***ing it up for us.
Man, I really hope this is not a risk that doesn't pay off for them. It all comes down to this.
I hate foie gras, I hate all that stuff, but the rice pudding is warm. Most people never have that rice pudding warm. This just won me over even though there's foie gras on it. I love you, Josh, and I love you, Vic.
So after going through this whole thing, we took you to the #4 restaurant in North America, 3 Michelin stars, Smith. Is it worth it?
I think I've reached my ne plus ultra, as they say, which is the French word for like the limit. I've eaten 24-inch pizzas by myself, all types of racks of ribs. I've never been this full in a while. I didn't think a place like this, you could fill up on that, and I'm completely wrong about that. So I apologize for sitting in my restaurant for so many years and harping on joints like this, because clearly you can get your money's worth here. I'm stuffed right now, Joshua.
Wow, honestly, on to the next.
Now that we've come back to the US, we're actually gonna go right back to Canada. For restaurant number 3, Pearl Morissette. This one might be one of the weirdest. It's just on a random farm in the middle of nowhere. So if all of their food is being served off the farm, how are they gonna deliver any sort of an experience when it looks like this? So this is their moment to prove their seating on the list. If they can still deliver, do they deserve to be number 1? Eating with us is Canada's biggest calorie consumer, bodybuilding YouTube legend, Will Tennyson. As a bodybuilder, you try to get every last ounce of value out of what you consume. So Will is the perfect person to help us decide, is this meal truly worth it? We'll make that decision at the end. Here we have a tart filled with crab, but you see that little clear jelly looking stuff underneath the crab? That's a hardened gel of pure crab flavor.
I don't want to eat it, I want to frame it. It's beautiful.
Then in front of us we have what looks like a taquito to me, but it is not a taquito. It is a roe crispy carrot. Cheers. That's a nice taquito.
Whoa,
The tart shell.
that was executed well. I love like the crispy wafer at the bottom. Oh my God, never had anything close to this.
It's just a snack, you gotta calm down.
I thought when you put this down, this was like a little burrito or something, but it's a towel. You never know.
This dish is interesting. I wasn't expecting to see a gooey duck dish, which is a type of clam that looks like a penis.
Oh,
Huge penis, actually. I love that.
it's very fresh.
It almost reminds me of like a Chinese egg custard, even though there's no egg in it. Not only is this beautiful, but it's hyper local because they have stuff that's coming from the ocean locally, and then they have stuff that's coming from their greenhouse locally.
Are you supposed to like superset like the sake with the dish, or you like finish one and then go?
Yes, superset the sake. Crazy use of superset.
This is where things got a little unusual. Instead of a small plate, we were given a giant slice of bread.
Did you smell it? Sniff the underside of that. Right?
Wow, yeah.
So fine dining, you typically see a lot of small portions, which you've already seen, but we have
The signature dish.
which is from a 3-kilo loaf of bread. And they did specify you can have as much of it as you like. Should we ask for more?
Of course we should.
I low-key could just do this and then just eat that.
That's crazy, man.
Macros are
Memories
dead.
over macros, right?
Why is bread so good?
I don't even know, it doesn't make sense. But I can almost taste the fact that the butter was made here. It tastes so fresh. You give it a 10 out of 10?
I'll give it a 9.
Damn.
Almost perfect.
This is supposedly the most perfectly cooked lobster ever, but will it compete with the lobster dish at Tanier and Smith?
I don't smile much, but this one's making me smile. I haven't even eaten it yet. This one deserves a standing ovation. It is a privilege to be here right now.
We've had lobster at almost every single restaurant we went to on this list. Best lobster dish, by far. That is a banger. Cooked absolutely perfectly. Seasoned perfectly, without losing any of the flavor of the lobster. On to the next course.
The most perfectly cooked scallop, sitting on top of pearls made of lobster, green strawberry, and served tableside a savory broth.
Oh, this is so good. First of all, the scallop is cooked insane.
Ooh. Tastes like bacon.
I also am getting that. They're leveraging all the briny flavors of the sea in this. You have dashi, rich umami. God, the scallop is just like briny and perfectly cooked. It like melts in your mouth.
And I don't know how to say it without saying it, but the little balls in your mouth, incredible, like texturally.
Actually, yeah. Honestly, Will's right. The balls in your mouth are crazy. Like, I love these balls in my mouth.
Gargle them around and then chew.
Whoa, yeah. So we've moved on to an interesting course. This is a celery root, one of my most favorite vegetables. They like let it stay in the ground too long so it freezes over and then it thaws. And then they slowly cook it for multiple hours.
It smells more like a croissant than
Actually,
than
yeah.
celery root.
That's bonkers. That's a flex.
My toenails are curling.
Wait, pause.
How are you supposed to go back after something like this? You know what I mean? Like if my wife makes me dinner when I go home, I'm just gonna throw it away. I'm like, this is what I expect now. Like you're not making me celery root like this? Give it to the dog. How many calories do you think we're at for the meal so far? I'm gonna say we're at 1350. Maybe you 2,000 with the butter.
You're right.
Yeah.
This is the best dish I've had so far. This is number 1. Number 2 is the lobster, and number 3 is the tart in the very beginning. I just want to point out the fact that what beat out lobster was a vegetable. Not just a vegetable, but a really f***ing ugly vegetable.
I don't know about this one, guys. A halibut dish sitting what they call an onion bubble bath. Ah, and more caviar, of course.
That is a f***ing banger. Personally, we got another number 1.
No.
It's seasoned perfectly, balanced perfectly. The caviar, little pops of umami and salty brininess from that. The fish is cooked perfectly, but what I really love about this is the explosion of smoke in my mouth from the smoked onion.
Like every bite, I'm like almost like my mind just goes clear. It's just so good though.
We were getting tremendously full, but then at the start of dessert, they threw us a curveball that really confused Will.
Can you explain to me why at this point we need to have cheese? It's like the last thing I want.
Honestly, I don't know, but I like it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna complain about it, but
You sound like you're complaining.
I guess I am complaining about it, yeah.
I think it's kind of like Oh, you're changing your mind?
That honey, I'm never gonna be able to enjoy other honey ever again.
This feels like the most luxurious bite we've had. We're transitioning into dessert, quite literally with a very sweet, but also a very salty dish.
Our first 2 desserts were tasty, but not crazy. A rose hip ice cream and an apple tart. But now we have something I didn't know was possible.
We have reached the final 2 courses. So far, they've had non-stop bangers. A few ones that didn't quite impress us as much, but ultimately, I think overall we could agree this has been a pretty phenomenal experience. Are they gonna win it at the end, or is this gonna be a crash?
I feel like they have to end on a high note. I feel like the chefs back there know that this has to bang.
The more I eat this, the more I like it. I appreciate the creativity of this.
We ate that fast. Hang on.
We have warm madeleines. It's like a little banana bread pillow, crispy on the outside. It's almost like a donut and a cake at the same time.
I love the cold and I love the hot. It's a nice lighter thing to finish off, kind of like a fruity finish.
Holistically, this meal has been absolutely bonkers. I wish it would have ended with a bit more of a bang, but I have mixed feelings about it, and I want your actual opinion. Is it worth it?
I feel like there was a few moments within this meal that I'm gonna talk about for a very long time. I think that food is more than just food, it's an experience, and I think to be able to like go and share that with other people makes it worthwhile. That like halibut, that lobster, I think it's definitely worth it.
We're at number 3, but does this belong at number 1? So we move on to number 2.
This is Mon Lapin in Montreal, Quebec. This is the biggest upset on the entire list because it's nothing like any of the other restaurants. It has 0 Michelin stars, no tasting menu, reasonable prices, and it's run by one of the chillest chefs I think I've ever met. But I'm a little bit in the hot seat here because we're with Chef Laurent. He's a regular here, he's a native, and his goal is to convince me that Mon Lapin should be number 1 on the list. We'll see if he's right at the end of the video.
We're at Mon Lapin.
My rabbit.
Like you.
Mwah. The food, the wine, the service, everything is to the level of a Michelin star. It's like you can come here on a regular Tuesday night, so just show up in sweatpants, have a good dinner, and leave.
Kicking us off, this is a cookie in the shape of a rabbit, except it's filled with chicken liver. A humble and also unexpected start.
So good. Simple, the cookie's super crisp. It's like a shortbread, so very buttery, lightly sweet. And then the inside, the chicken liver mousse, is creamy like butter.
So clean, nice flavor, well seasoned.
Really nice, great start.
Another shockingly simple dish, clams with a lot of crushed sun gold tomato on top.
Very fresh, briny.
The perfect sweetness, acidity, the natural brininess of the clams, it's amazing.
Followed by what looks like essentially deep fried ravioli.
Oh, wow.
It's so tender. It almost has like a spanakopita vibe.
I was just saying. We drink the same way.
It's just like uncomplicated and delicious. There wasn't a million ingredients. It was a great sauce, a lot of Swiss chard, cooked very nicely, seasoned very nicely, very simply.
This last one stopped me in my tracks. These are leeks gently cooked in mussel brine, and you eat them by taking them out, putting them on a beautiful in-house made potato chip, spoon on some of the aioli they serve on the side, and take a bite.
Beautiful.
So simple. I always have the word pure that comes back.
Letting the ingredient just speak for itself. They're really blowing me away. I can't believe how good this is. We're just getting started.
So they've earned their number 2 spot for sure, but this next dish might have me thinking it's number 1.
So we have shrimp from Nova Scotia, which are usually cooked directly on the boat, and somehow they've managed to acquire them.
On the plug.
So we're gonna enjoy them raw.
Yeah, in 37 years of existence, I've never had those raw, because they always come cooked.
Yeah, they're unbelievable.
Wow, crazy sweetness.
That's insane.
Those are not regular capers. Question.
Yeah.
What are those, you said?
Blueberry capers. Immature blueberry fermented like capers.
Green blueberries fermented like capers. That just blew my right off my body. The sweetness from this is sweeter than any king crab, lobster, whatever, and they're just little baby shrimps. I mean, I don't think I've ever had anything from a seafood standpoint that pops with sweetness like that naturally.
Canada.
This is toast. Well, actually, a scallop toast filled with a scallop mousse and a sauce to dip it in.
So good.
The sauce here is called a rouille with saffron and garlic.
That is incredible. Better than any shrimp toast I've ever had. The textures are so beautiful and contrasting. The outside's beautifully crispy and toasted. The inside is like smooth and almost creamy texture. Almost like a soft scrambled egg. Oceanic, briny, super, super salty and nice. It's a perfect dish. It really is. It's unbelievable.
The first time I had this, it was like the first time I kissed you. It was amazing.
Now a celery root dish that may compete with the one from Pearl Morissette. We have a roasted celery root, buffalo mozzarella, a special sauce, and finished with a ton of grated Périgord truffle.
Wow.
If I smell it, I only get truffle. When you bite it, all you get is celery root.
It's also so fresh. It's not too rich at all. All the flavors are there to like lift the celery. This is making me realize something.
Tell me.
I understand now why they are so high on the list. I'm realizing that every single thing here is so fresh and also like creatively hand selected.
They probably have a guy for celery root, a guy for asparagus, they have a guy for tomatoes, they have a guy for clams. They really take the time to curate different suppliers for every single ingredient.
A lot of chefs don't think about that. It's kind of a lost art.
Mon lapin, wow. Fewer dishes, and they're matching punch for punch. And apparently it's my birthday. By the way, it's not.
Happy birthday, Joshi! He's 25 years old today. He just aged very badly, that's all. Yeah.
Worked in the restaurant industry.
Yeah. This is the most random thing you can imagine. A buckwheat cake is something I've ever even heard of. And every time I come here, I get it because it's very good.
Wow, yeah, oh my God.
Right?
That's so good. Like the little crispy twill makes the cake. Dense and like whole grain, but in a nice way.
Yeah.
Super lightly sweetened. And then that caramel, like super rich, super buttery, salty. That brings a lot of the sweetness. Textural wonderland.
So this is the final dessert.
The sorbet meets meringue, meets brown butter, meets berries.
It doesn't look crazy. If they don't hit it with this, then it ruins the meal. Can these guys bring it home?
That is a top 10 dessert of my life. I love this.
That brown butter powder is genius.
Because it brings dairy in without like overwhelming your palate with cream.
Yeah.
Instead, you get the best form of dairy, which is toasted milk solids.
I'm shocked. Could this place be the best restaurant in North America?
This is the best meal I've had on this list, and it is the best cooking I've had on this list by far. You can't be the best without having an ego about it. You can't. But this is like one of the first times I've been to a restaurant that's on a major list and has a high ranking, where it does not feel overwhelmingly like they have a huge ego.
This level of talent has been here forever. It's just been always under-recognized. I think we're starting to get the love that we deserve in Montreal because we had some great restaurants for the longest time here.
Out of the list we've had thus far, it is the best place that we have eaten at. We have one more left. So the question is this number one, or is the number one number one?
It all comes down to this, the final restaurant, the number one on the list, Atomix in New York City. From the outside, I'm gonna be honest, it's just a random apartment building. But what's tucked inside blew my mind. Underneath the surface isn't just a breathtaking kitchen. You're greeted by a display of every single fresh ingredient you're about to eat, hand selected by the chefs. It's a whole experience before the food even starts. It has best restaurant in North America energy. And to help us make this decision, we have the only person I think suited for the job. Christian Petroni, chef, Food Network, celebrity. He's built and run many restaurants. So I asked him, what does he think it takes to be number one?
Well, first of all, the people behind it need to be a little sick in the head. There's a level of pure obsession to be called one of the best restaurants in America. You need to execute every day at the highest level humanly possible. Nobody is moving without purpose. It's theater, man, in the most beautiful way.
First course, a wild looking raw scallop set atop rice and a wrap of seaweed, almost like a sushi roll.
Send out a dozen more, no?
I would eat 600.
A whole tray of them.
Every little grain of rice, you could detect the individual f***ing piece in your mouth. And everything about that bite was so dialed.
Believe it or not, this is the craziest looking little clam tart.
In the form of a single bite.
Yeah.
When fine dining is executed really well is when they can still maintain craveability. Because when you lose craveability, then what's the point?
You'll be thinking about those bites 3 days from now. They sent these out to let us know, hey man, you guys are safe here.
If they were like, take your shoes off, I'd do it.
Mine already off.
Oh, okay.
Belt?
So I don't know the last time you guys went to a restaurant and they had personalized chopsticks for you to choose, but this one does. Part of me is excited about the choice, but I'm also a little nervous because what if I regret this? These are a little short.
Sometimes you just gotta pick a pair of chopsticks and run with them.
So I should add, every time they bring me a new drink, it is so cold. It's like colder than ice, but somehow in a liquid state. It's like McDonald's Diet Coke level cold. You know what I'm talking about?
This next one is risky, to say the least.
Monkfish liver. Now this is a make or break dish. I've had monkfish liver 4 or 5 times, and there have been times where it has blown me away, delicious. And then there have been other times where it was the polar opposite. It's like butter. Oh my God.
Oh my God, that's so damn good.
I'm kind of shocked. Out of the monkfish liver that I've had, this one's craveable. I was gonna say make or break. So far, it's a make.
Underneath that giant dollop of caviar are shreds of kohlrabi, which is kind of like a radish. Underneath that is hot crab, all sitting in a rich cream sauce.
Whoa. I'm like tearing up a little bit. This one's getting me. This one's really f***ing good. The little flecks of salt popping, the perfectly cooked kohlrabi, the cream. This is a f***ing meal. I'm feeling it.
I'm schwitzing.
So this is a standout dish for me. It's a dish that makes me ask, is this the type of dish that makes a restaurant the #1 restaurant in America?
How many times can lightning strike, right? I don't know.
It's striking.
Never heard of abalone? Well, it looks like this. It's essentially a giant clam. This one is tempura fried, sitting in a sweet and sour sauce. Almost oddly simple. But they gave us another little dish that they told us to save for the very last bite.
If you want to be the best in the US, you have to find a way to merge the creative art with familiarity.
That's crazy, right?
That's insane. And then you hit this thing that they tell you to hit last.
The accoutrement.
The accoutrement. This little thing is a 10 out of 10. It changed absolutely nothing. It was so good because I think that the intensity of the acid, the saltiness, the sweetness, and the umami combined with all of the aromatics was at its absolute maximum. And that was crazy.
Now they're hitting me in my soul. Lobster glazed in one of my favorite ingredients ever, gochujang. And on the side, a perfectly cooked rice rolled in tofu skin.
The rice is cooked so crazy perfect. And the spicy little kimchi in there, this is like, I think the most obvious impression of Korean cuisine in our entire meal tonight. That is perfectly meshed, because this is the fine dining, the lobster, but then you take a bite of this and it's like, oh, this is like a amazing little Korean dish.
The lobster, creamy, rich, butter. We're in France, but then you put it up against this Korean style rice.
One of the things I'm starting to realize here, they're telling a story about Korean culture with every single dish. What drives me to cook food, I'm constantly trying to get people to see food through the lens that I see it, to enjoy it as much as I do. And that's kind of what they're doing here. They're telling the story of Korea and presenting it to you in the best possible format, in a way that's delicious, that you get it.
We didn't have a single bite of truffle for this entire dinner until dessert. To the right, there's a little chocolate torte topped with a massive layer of fresh, thinly sliced black truffle. On the left, a corn ice cream on top of white chocolate snow. We waited the entire meal for this. Will it pay off?
The texture of the cake is like decadent and thick.
It's like a black truffle brownie with corn ice cream is what it tastes like to me. And I'm here for...
I love what the truffle adds, like a little bit of a subtle, earthy funk, but leaves almost like a earthy mocha kind of tone to the chocolate.
Having that sort of hint of like, let's be honest, dirt, right?
Yeah.
Is beautiful against like what I see as a very sort of nostalgic style of dessert.
Guys, a hilariously understandable ending to a meal that closes out possibly one of the craziest dining experiences. We've flown all across North America, the top 5 restaurants. And the question that we need to answer here is, do they deserve their spots?
After 100 courses, 5 major cities, here's what I really think. The ranking
Did not matter at all, actually. It's so incredibly difficult to even get on a list like this as a restaurant. It's just giving you an idea of the type of caliber of a restaurant you're gonna be walking into. They all felt like number one in their own way because they were all completely different. Each restaurant could be number one on a different day to a different person, just depending on how the restaurant's night went or how that person's night went. So just pick something, go, and have a good time. Love you, subscribe. See ya.